and I want to make sure that you can see and hear me okay. If you didn't notice, I have this B here in the background for Bootcamp. B is for Bootcamp. I met with Brittany, if any of you know Brittany over at Weeknight website. She was like, "Why do you have a B?" It was like, obviously for you, Britt. It's not. It's for Bootcamp. But let me know if B is for backwards today, because I don't know if this is showing the right way. So let me know. Okay. I'm going to actually just go ahead and jump into my slides. Let's rock this out. Okay. And we are going to switch my camera. Hopefully you'll still see me in the corner. Awesome. Okay, welcome to day 2, everyone, of Ultimate Website Makeover Bootcamp. Please just type a little comment. We're on a slight delay, but type a comment if you can see or hear me okay. Y'all, I am so excited that you're here, because today is something that I actually think could change your life, what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it. All right, day 2, build trust and lead to sales. So here is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover why you feel weird and icky selling and how you can conquer that issue. Oh, yay, can see and hear me. Awesome. Thanks, guys. We are going to cover the number 1 rule to smashing success with your online sales. We're also going to cover what almost everyone gets wrong when it comes to selling on their website and how you can fix it. But before we get any further, I want you to know that we have another giveaway today. So if you were here yesterday, you know that if you type #breakthrough in the chat, you get entered into a giveaway. But we actually have a super extra fun giveaway today, because we're going to do a little bit of a scavenger hunt. Okay, so today's giveaway prize is a ring light. So Chandra is going to actually pop in the link into the chat for that ring light. It is my very favorite one. It comes with a remote. It comes with 2 tripod holders. And so type breakthrough in the chat, #breakthrough in the chat, and also follow it with, what you actually got breakthrough in. So, yesterday we had some breakthroughs. Somebody said #breakthrough. My website's been loading slow lately, and I actually know how to fix it now. #breakthrough. I know what generation my website needs to appeal to, stuff like that. So tell me what your breakthrough was. And then you also are going to get points if you take a picture of this live right now and post it to your Instagram stories and tag Weeknight website. So that will get you a couple points. And you'll also get a point if you post in our Facebook group. So we have a Facebook group. You should have already been invited to it. If you comment or post in that Facebook group today, you'll also get a point. So there's a little point system going on. When you're done, you can go ahead and enter. There's a Google form that you can say, hey, I did this, I did that, and I did that. You just check off the little boxes and you'll be entered to win the giveaway at the end. I will give you time at the end to actually fill out that Google form and do all these things because, I want you to actually pay attention. So feel free to, post at any points to Instagram stories, to comment, breakthrough at any point. But I just want you to know that you'll also have a little bit of time to do that at the end, because, I don't want you to miss out. Okay. And then also, just like yesterday, type #question in the chat if you have any questions while I'm talking today. I'll definitely have time to go over those at the end. And then also make sure that you are listening for the magic word. At some point during this broadcast, I'm going to share a magic word, and if you send that magic word, the subject line of that magic word, to weeknightwebsite@gmail.com, then you will get today's freebie. Today's freebie is actually sales affirmations that you can pump yourself up with in your business before you're selling anything. If you really need to get confident, these are the affirmations that I use and love and have really transformed my mindset. So I want to give those to you today. But it hasn't happened yet. I will definitely let you know, and it'll be blatantly obvious when magic word time is. Okay, before we actually get started with more, sorry, there's lots of housekeeping today. Today's worksheet is our sales pump up sheet. This is inside of your Teachable portal. It's the portal that you have login details for. If you are like, oh my goodness, I see this worksheet, but I don't know how to download it, you actually have to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you'll see a little download button on the bottom left, okay? So download this sales pump up sheet. It's an interactive PDF, so you should be able to check off true or false. And basically what we're gonna be doing is going through your mindset, and then just things in your experience of your website that could be helping or hurting you when it comes to making sales on your website. Today is all about sales. Okay, why selling on your website matters. Let's jump in. Guys, well, I think this is obvious, but sales are like oxygen for your business. Sometimes we're actually focused on the wrong things in our business. A lot of times, especially service providers, I know we have a lot of designers here, but this can happen to anyone, focus on marketing a lot, right? And marketing is important. Or you focus on, the actual doing in your business. So you're focused on, making whatever it is that you make, but you're not actually focusing on selling. You're not actually closing sales. Maybe you're getting traffic, but you're kind of losing them when it comes to your website. Might be why you're here. Or you are just focused on the actual work of your business, and you're not working on your business. You're not attracting more people to what you do. Or maybe somebody asks you, hey, what do you do in your business offline? And you don't even know what to say. The thing is, you have to get really, 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 really good at selling, because this is going to be really what makes or breaks your business, the ability to drive in sales. And at the end of the day, if, when you're looking at your bank statements, when you're trying to figure out, okay, is my business going to make it this month or this year or whatever, what matters? The numbers, right? It doesn't matter how great your Instagram looks, or how great your brand looks, or how great even your website looks, right? What matters is that you actually close some deals. Okay, so when it comes to selling, it's the most important thing that you're gonna do. I actually found as a designer, you know what my most important day of the month is? It's the day that I send invoices, right? If I can't invoice, my business dies. So I actually have made that day a priority, because, I've actually worked with other contractors where I don't get an invoice from them for like 2 months. And I'm like, hey buddy, like what's going on, right? Like we actually have to remind ourselves and keep an eye on that, right? Because that is what drives our business forward. Okay. So, I want you to know, though, that online sales can usually be boiled down to a couple of things, okay? It's almost always a problem, or they're being driven by one of these three things. I call it MET. You can remember this by saying, have we met yet, right? So M stands for messaging, okay? What are you saying about your product? What is the way that you position your product or service? What is it that is communicating the value of what you do to your potential client or customer? E is for experience. So that's what we're talking about today. What is the experience like on your website? We went a little bit over messaging yesterday. We talked about generational design and whether or not it's appealing to them. We also went over experience, right? Like, is your website loading quickly? Is your website, too confusing to navigate? That's all experience related things. And then also we're going to go over today some more experience related things. So hang with me. And then tomorrow we're actually going to be covering traffic, because that is the T in MET. But before we move on with the MET framework, I want you to catch wind of something else, okay? I almost wanted to call this an MMET, because mindset is also so important when it comes to sales. And this is part of this is the part that I really think is going to change your life, okay? Mindset, I know that it's so cliche nowadays to talk about mindset, blah, 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 but it really, really, really does make or break what you're doing. The way that you show up online is often a direct reflection of what you believe about your products and about yourself, about whether or not you're safe with money, whether or not you can actually deliver on your promises, all of that, right? And so that all has to do with what's going on up here. If you don't believe in your service or your product, you'll be like, I don't know. I mean, for some people, it helps them, and I think it's good, right? Like, what? That is not the energy that you want to bring to selling. You want to be confident and say, I actually really think, just like I'm selling you staying here today, I'm like, this will actually change your life. Guys, if you get this right, this will change your life. Believing that selling is a service, that what you're doing is a service, and it is actually helping people, but your product is helping people, that what you do is helping people, and that somebody is actually wishing for what you're putting out there, that is going to actually revolutionize your business. It brings a totally different meaning to what you do, and that's going to be reflected in every single part of your marketing, your website included, okay? So if you feel uncomfortable selling, it is very, very likely that you haven't connected with the idea that selling is a service. You probably don't believe that selling is an exchange of value. It's not a one-way street. There's a lot of people who, inadvertently, they feel like bad about selling because they feel like someone is giving them money, and they don't necessarily believe that the value that they're providing is actually worth the money that's being exchanged. But the truth is that selling is an exchange of value. It is not a one-way street, okay? So some of you guys are self-sabotaging because you don't believe this. Some of you guys are procrastinating because you don't believe this. You're like, oh, my service isn't ready yet. My product isn't ready yet, blah, 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 because you don't believe yet that the value that's going to be delivered is worth that exchange. Okay, so I want you guys to reframe a little bit. If you feel like, you know what, I've been dragging my feet on my product, I've been dragging my feet on my service, I'm not showing up with all of me, I'm not showing up in service to the world, but I really feel like I can do more, that I'm capable of more. If that is you today, if what I'm saying is really connecting with you, I want you to reframe this belief to someone is wishing for the product or service that I'm providing. I want you every single day to think about the person. Like, we talked about generations and your niche and all that stuff, but I want you every single morning when you wake up to think about, who is this person that my product is going to actually change their lives? Like, my product, and maybe, PS, guys, your product doesn't actually have to change lives. It could just be something that they want. Okay, so some of us are like, yeah, I sell like jewelry. I don't think it's changing anyone's life. Okay, so like, I get that, right? But like, maybe what you're selling is just something that it would add something to their life. Maybe that jewelry will make somebody feel beautiful or feel better about their day. Or, I have this ring that I just got recently that I was like, I just really liked it. I've been looking for something like it for a really long time. I wish I wore it today. And it just makes me feel like the cool girl that I want to be. You know what I mean? I try to be cool, but So I love wearing this ring because that's the value it adds to my life. It makes me step into the person that I want to feel like I am that day, right? So I want you to reframe your belief to believe that someone is wishing for the thing that you are providing. Okay. Now, I want to say, now that I've done all of my preaching for the day, I do want to mention that you can't sell a turd no matter how pretty the packaging is, okay? So even though technically you can con people into, buying whatever it is that you're trying to sell, I would not recommend that, because eventually you are going to get found out. Eventually, the reviews are going to come out. You're not going to get a good reputation. Okay, so if you want a product that really stands the test of time, then you should tweak it until that statement that we just went over, before actually feels true for you. Okay, so if that doesn't feel true for you, if you say somebody is wishing for my product or service and you don't actually believe it, then you probably have to tweak a little bit. And we'll go over that next. We'll talk about, what you actually have to sell. But if you really want something that's going to stand the test of time, Make sure that that feels true and then build on it, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect the first time out of the gate, but you do want to build on something that does solve a problem or does solve a desire, and then you can just keep making it better and better. All right, so let's talk about tweaking your offer though. If you do truly find that you have to actually revisit your offer, then I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, okay? First of all, who do you feel called to serve? So, for me, it's business owners. I love business owners, whether they're business owners or the service providers of business owners. At Weeknight Website, we have 2 people that we really feel called to serve. One person is that business owner. They're out there hustling and they are done trying to Frankenstein everything together. They just want a one-stop shop. Like, I can build my website here and I can have all of my website resources right here, right? Or we are, feeling called to serve like designers who are like, you know what? I'm so tired of like investing in all these plugins all over the internet. I just want to go to one place. I want to know my website is going to be maintained for me, that I don't have to worry about that I can trust that I build my client websites here and that they're not going to like go down in a week or a month or whatever. And that I don't have to keep on buying all of these super expensive licenses for all these plugins all over the internet, and I can still put them on WordPress. I know that they'll be taken care of if anything comes up. That's our promise at Weeknight Website. Those are the people that we feel called to serve, are those 2 audiences, okay? Next up is, what problems or desires do we have? I kind of went over that, but really think about like, okay, if your person is I just keep going back to the jewelry example. A person, she's a new mom. She really wants to wear raw moonstone jewelry, but she's worried about it around her child, but you want to give her something that like she really feels beautiful in. That's a desire that she has, right? And then how can you solve these problems? By actually, providing them with beautiful jewelry, whatever. Okay. So those are things to ask yourself. Also, P.S. about your offer and actually positioning it correctly, I would recommend data mining some Facebook groups. So something that I love to do is I love to send out surveys. I love to poll my audience. Recently we had a product that we did a pre-sale for. I'll just behind the scenes a little bit. Recently we had a product that we did a pre-sale for. It was a course, and we were like, you know what? It didn't go the way that we wanted it to. We really thought, we've sold this before, people really were into it, and we were like, what's going on? And people just told us like, hey, we just think that like it seems valuable, but it doesn't seem like it's for me. We realized that the audience that we've built, we have the wrong product for them. So we either have to, go to like find this whole other audience, or we can create more products for the audience that we actually have. So that's just an example of revisiting our offer just based on like surveys that we sent out. And if you want a little tip, a really great way to actually get feedback on your surveys is to offer something for free. So you see this all the time. Like yesterday I went to Home Depot and they were like, give us your feedback and we'll enter you in a giveaway for $5,000. I was like, heck yeah, $5,000 is a lot of money. I would love that from Home Depot. So just know that those are, it doesn't have to be $5,000. Honestly, like a $50 gift card will do. Okay. Next up, know that a website is an awesome place to test your ideas. Guys, what's so cool about your website is that when it becomes a tool that you really learn to leverage in your business, you can pre-sell things. Just like I was saying, remember I was just talking about that course that we sold? We had it already in existence. We were going to add more to that course. We still probably will, but we just realized, hey, it's not a good time for that sale. That was testing an idea, and we did that. We used our website to do that. We tested it, and boom, it didn't go the way that we wanted to. We pivoted, right? You can do that a lot easier with a website than and just creating a prototype or like a version 1 of something versus constantly reinventing the wheel and launching full launches of products that you don't even know if they're going to work, right? A website is great testing grounds for what you're doing. Okay, hey guys, I really want to see some more breakthroughs. I want to see some more comments. So please let me know if you're having any breakthroughs. All right, now we're going to talk about actually leading to sales, because I want you to say this with me. Ready? Say this out loud. My website is for closing sales. Okay? So you guys have obviously a lot of you guys know us through social media. I say obviously, not all of you know us through social media, but social media is a great driver of traffic nowadays, right? But a lot of times sales are not happening on social media. They're happening off social media. Social media is something that drives people to your website or, in-person events, whatever. And then you're actually closing the sale on these places. The function of your website is to close sales, okay? So remember we talked about MET earlier? This is the experience part of it. Your website is the experience part of it. So we have your messaging, which is like how you talk about your offer. Mindset is a really important part of that. Branding is an important part of that, kind of like what we were talking about yesterday. And then you have your experience. All right. So here are this is like the most important part of your experience, okay? Before I go into questions we ask, the most important part of the experience is something we call in the design world reducing friction, okay? Reducing friction. What that means is that you have to make that yes very, very, very easy for your customer. If you have too many steps at any point, whether that's too many clicks, too many fields to fill out on a form, too much to do before they can say yes to you, before you make that sale, then you have too much friction on your website. Any point where they can say no, you want to offset that immediately. You want to offset those objections immediately, whether it's through design, whether it's through your messaging. So like having an FAQ that's like, is this really for me? Because my husband says blah, 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 blah. Yes, it's for you. Because why? Like you want to address any objections that they might have, because people are, when they're looking at your sales pages on your website, whatever, they're looking for reasons to say yes because they actually want what you have, obviously, or they wouldn't be looking at it. They're also looking for reasons to back out. So they're doing both at the same time, right? So you want to make it as easy and smooth as possible, okay? We want as few steps or places that they might second guess themselves. Okay, so the questions to ask that, about whether or not your stuff has too much friction or not, okay? 1, is it clear? Is there a button or specific form that they need to use to buy from you, to make a sale? Is the process explained? Does this person know how this works? Do they feel like they have enough information to actually make a decision, right? Are their objections addressed? Are they feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is for me and I just feel like it's clearly not. So boom. You might be able to address that objection in, like I said, a frequently asked questions form, right? Like somebody might say, all the time on Weeknet website, people are like, oh, is this for, just DIYers, right? And we have specifically parts of our website that say, hey, no, this is for designers too. This actually really helps designers. And so we specifically called out designers to say, no, this is also for you. You will love this tool, right? Are you addressing their objections? We also have, objections like competitors. People are always like, oh, how does this compare to Squarespace or whatever? We say, hey, actually, this is more customizable than Squarespace. We specifically call it out because we know who the competitors are and we know that our customers know who they are too. So, don't act like you don't have competitors. Address it head on because that is what your customer is doing. Okay, next friction thing that you can help with is it easy? Do your forums have enough information to engage? Like, are you, okay, so I hate when I go somewhere and people are like, hire us, and then it's a super generic contact form. Wah, I hate that so much. It's like, you're making me think too hard about what I need to do to actually get started. If you just had a form that was like, hey, work with me. Like, let's say I was hiring a photographer. I don't just want say hi as the hire them form. I want like, when is the date that you're looking for? What kind of photo shoot are you doing? Have you ever done a photo shoot before? You talking to other photographers? I want the form that really is like, okay, this is the kind of engagement that you're used to. These are the questions you need to know. And this actually prompts me. So I'm not really thinking about what I have to say. You're telling me what I have to say, and I'm just answering questions. It's actually more of a no-brainer than like a generic content form. Also, make sure that your buttons and processes work. So the actual delivery of how things works. Like, does your contact form actually submit? Does your button actually lead somewhere? I mean, you would be shocked at how often I'll go to buy something and like the drop down to select the size that I want doesn't work, or the color doesn't work or something. It's so annoying, right? And so just go through periodically, test things. If you're seeing a lull in sales, test stuff on your website. That's probably what it is. There's probably just something that's not actually working. Okay. Next up, is it proven? We talked about this yesterday, but there's a couple things that we did not go over. So let's talk about, is it proven? So first of all, do you have testimonials? Are there testimonials about, the transformations that your product is bringing? Do you have before and afters, examples of, what something looked like before you got a hold of it and then after? Do you have product photos in context? Guys, this is a level of proof, okay? Like, especially for those of you guys who are doing e-commerce. So I do know we have a bunch of e-commerce people here. Your product photos on its own, like if I was selling this coffee, right? This coffee is great on its own, but I want to see how big the cup is in my hands. How much coffee am I actually getting, right? If I'm trying on sweaters, I want to see somebody who, has the vibe that I'm going for wearing the sweater that I want and say like, yeah, I see myself in that, right? Context matters so much when you're coming up with your product photos. And then also press or client logos, which we did talk about yesterday. So, just remember, again, you don't have to have had press opportunities. It could just be well-known people in your industry and you have their logos or their testimonials on your site as well. Okay, and then the last thing that 99% of people get wrong, and this is what we're going to bust through today, guys, is there urgency. Urgency matters so much because you want to know the number one thing that tends to come between me and a prospective customer or lead. It's time. If somebody reaches out to me, I'm a service provider. Like, we have Weekend website too, but I'm also a web designer. If somebody reaches out to me and they're like, hey, I'm interested in working with you, do you want to know the number one way that I know that they'll agree quickly is if I immediately contact them back, or at least within like one business day, and I say, awesome, let's set up a meeting. Because then I am closing the gap between them thinking about moving forward and them actually moving forward, right? Time is everything when it comes to making sales. The truth is that everyone needs a deadline. A lot of people, I work with a lot of course creators, and they're like, oh my goodness, well, I just want it to be evergreen. I want my cart to be open all the time. That's great if you want to have a product that doesn't make a lot of sales. If you want to have a trickle, and you have to decide if you want a trickle or if you want a waterfall, right? Now, e-commerce people, it's different because hopefully you're launching things like regularly, continuously, and things run out. And urgency, that's actually a part of urgency, is what we call scarcity. Things are running out. You have to get it before anyone else because there's limited inventory. When it's a digital product or like a service product and there's not really inventory in the same way, then you want to make sure that you are communicating that there is a deadline or that your books are closing, that, they have to get on the wait list if they don't get in before a certain amount of time. You really do have to open and close those doors at some point, okay? So let's talk about 3 ways of establishing urgency. So I'm actually going to talk about 3 different things. One is urgency, one is what's called scarcity, and one is called exclusivity. Okay, so Excuse me 1 second. Don't want to fumble with my slides too much, but I got to get out of this screen. Okay, so we are first going to talk about urgency, okay? Screen. Okay, there we go. That's the screen I wanted. Okay, so this is a tool that we love to use called Deadline Funnel. Now, if you have ever worked on a course before, this is something, or if you're looking at working on a course, this is something that you definitely want to look at. So Deadline Funnel, what it'll do is it'll tell people how much time they have to purchase your product or service. Now, this can be an actual deadline, meaning like, okay, cart closes next Friday, right? So it'll count down exactly when their cart is closing. Or it can be something like an evergreen funnel. So like anytime that someone lands on the page, they have exactly 2 days from that point to actually make a decision. Okay, so that is a really good example of urgency. People are like, okay, this is urgent. I only have this much time. Something else I noticed that people do to drive urgency are things like, okay, this is Good American, and she has limited time, free shipping, no minimum. Limited time. That is an example of urgency. Now, an example of scarcity is something like if someone, if I went to this website and I was shopping for some jeans and it was like, hey, we only have 4 left in stock. That means that we're expiring. There's a certain amount that is left, and I want to get it before everybody else does, right? Exclusivity is like this. This is Fabletics. I, am subscribed. I'm a member, so I get these special discounts, and it's basically like I get credits every month, and I can redeem them with a certain amount of time. So that's another great sales trick as well, is to actually have like a VIP or like a wait list or something that that your VIPs only can redeem. So these are things that I wish that more people got right, honestly. But unfortunately, a lot of times people just assume I throw a product on my site and it's going to sell. Well, the problem is people they don't feel any urgency around doing it now. And that means that you have to catch them at a point where they're ready to make that decision. So you have to catch them at exactly the moment when the boyfriend's birthday is, exactly at the moment when they're ready to make an investment in their business, right? And I'm not saying that you won't make any sales this way, but the problem is that you are not going to have the predictability in your revenue stream that you need as you would if you had urgency in place. If you had, limited time launches, if you made wait lists for certain products and then they were released and they knew that they were running out, right? And so I really want to encourage you guys to start thinking this way about your business. If you're a service provider, start opening and closing your books. If you have a website with inventory on it, actually track that inventory. If you have limited time releases, like let's say, even if you're doing print on demand, I know we have a lot of musicians in Weeknight website world who do print on demand stuff. It's great, but make sure that you have a time when that release is going to end. That shirt is going to sell out. My husband is a musician. He's a collector. He loves collecting t-shirts from different metal bands, right? But he'll order, like, he'll randomly be like, oh yeah, I just ordered this shirt from France by this obscure band the other day because it's going to sell out. Well, definitely make sure that you are actually, communicating that stuff to your list. People will respond to that. And if they don't respond, then you know that you're not wasting time on some dud that nobody wants, okay? So, but the thing is, too, remember, guys, I'm not trying to tell you to not have integrity with any of this. I want to make sure that when you're communicating this urgency, that it's real, okay? So you can have, like, maybe secret ways to buy, like, a digital product or something like that. Like, maybe there's a back door that you open for like this amount of people, but don't just like say that something's expiring and then it's really anybody could get it at any time. People are going to know, okay? And they're not going to trust you in the future for future offers as well. So make sure that that's actually expiring, which is why tools like Deadline Funnel are great. Okay, it is time for the magic word. And actually, it was time for the magic word a minutes ago, and I totally forgot about it. Okay, it is time for the magic word. Are you ready? The magic word is grow. The magic word is grow. So email the word grow, just subject line grow, to weeknetwebsite@gmail.com, and you will instantly get those sales affirmations that, we were talking about at the beginning of the call, mindset, motivators to getting you pumped up to sell confidently, okay? Grow to weeknetwebsite@gmail.com. It is also time to enter our scavenger hunt. So if you haven't yet, then you better, I have not seen enough breakthroughs today. You better hashtag the word breakthrough in our comments. I also want you to post in that Facebook group and take a little snippet of, take a little snapshot of what's going on today and add it to your Instagram. I am eagerly going to be awaiting your responses. But it looks like we are going to okay, let's read some breakthroughs while you do that, okay, while you're entering the scavenger hunt. All right, breakthrough today, we have invoicing is so important. True, yes. Creating urgency is important. Oh my gosh, yes. Breakthrough, I need to work on reducing the friction so my potential client can easily say yes. Such a good comment. That is absolutely true. Breakthrough, I need to create more urgency and close my books. Yes, Lauren. Yes, you do. Breakthrough. Okay, I'm going to add this here. Breakthrough, waitlisting is a great way to build leads, closing books, creating a sense of urgency. Great sales tips. I'm so happy. Breakthrough, my products are the answer to someone's wishes. Oh my gosh, I love that one so much. That actually did change my life, is believing that. So Brittany, I know you're my girl. You know all about this stuff, but awesome. I love seeing these breakthroughs come in. It makes me so incredibly happy. Okay. Let's do a little Q&A too. I just want to make sure that we have some time allotted to that, because I know that we didn't get to do a ton yesterday. Also, P.S. If you added, I have Facebook users need to apply urgency and exclusivity. Absolutely. Okay, if you have any questions, then feel free to do #question in the chat. I think we might have a little lag on our Facebook people, so bear with me there, guys. And if you want to enter our scavenger hunt and win our selfie lights, then you best enter your entries on the form, because there's not a lot of entries right now, and you have a really good chance. The selfie light that we're giving away today is a $35 value. It is my favorite thing ever. It's got an epic tripod, and it also has 2 attachments, so you can actually attach 2 different devices. Currently, you're actually seeing me from far back because I'm using it, and my webcam is in the middle. And then it also has a remote, so you can actually put your phone up there and click the little remote button, and that works like that too. All right, you guys, I don't think that we have any more questions today, so we are going to wrap it up. But please join us tomorrow. We are going to be going through, oh, that is the wrong, okay. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about getting leads, okay? Because the last little bit of the equation, the MET equation, is traffic. Okay, you have already, we've talked about your messaging and whether or not what you're communicating is resonating with your audience. Today we talked about experience, reducing friction on your website, and how that is kind of not doing it for your people, or how that is important, sorry. How reducing friction is important to actually making sales. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about traffic. Guys, this is something that I know a lot of you got. Oh, question for the giveaway. How do I enter to win? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that this was asked. Okay, so to enter to win, what you need to do is we have a form It is a Google form. Oh no, I'm so sad that it's not. I don't know. It was posted at the very beginning of the broadcast. It's a little Google form. Like, Chandra, if you don't mind dropping it in again, what you'll do is just enter that in. Like, enter in that. Okay, I commented breakthrough. I posted to stories and all that stuff, and then we're gonna calculate points, and whoever gets points the fastest and the most points will win the prize. So you still have a chance because we actually don't have any responses yet. But we will absolutely let the winner know after the broadcast because it looks like we don't have responses yet, but we might have a problem with our form. So we will repost it in the comments so that you will have a chance to win. So we'll just do it after the broadcast. But yes, yay, yay, yay. It's super fun. I love this light. I'm actually using it now. Okay. So tomorrow is going to be epic because we're going to be talking about organic strategies that are going to work in 2021 or that are working in 2021 because as a lot of you guys know, Facebook ads kind of turned on their heads a little bit with the iOS update and now everyone's freaking out like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna, drive sales to our business now? We're gonna talk about organic things. And guys, I'm gonna be showing you a really fun tool that I've been using recently in business that's helped a lot to, with like SEO and all that fun stuff. And I have not really seen it talked about a lot on the internet yet. So definitely come to that. It's a little demo time. Okay, talk later, guys. Thank you so much for joining.